In this next segment, we're going to look over the sights of a fine selection of pistols to show you the different kinds of front and rear sights, how to line them up, the importance of focus on the front sight, what those sights look like in front of a sheet of white paper, and what those sights look like in front of a target with a 6 o'clock hold. Everything from a World War I German Luger to a modern Kel-Tec P3AT carry gun. So this is a Colt Python revolver, and there's the front sight in focus. There's the sight picture, equal distance on each side of the front sight in focus. At this point I would fire the shot. Front sight, rear sight, sight alignment, sight picture, 6 o'clock hold, take the shot. Okay, so now I'm lining up the shot. I've got front sight in focus, and I start the trigger squeeze, fire the shot. Very good. So now I've got the sight lined up, got a beautiful sight insert on the front to guide us to 6 o'clock hold. Line up the front sight and the rear sight, begin my trigger squeeze, and off goes the shot. Okay, again, the front sight is in sharp focus, and there's the rear sight. Line it up, begin my squeeze after I line up, and take the shot. Very good. Okay, so you've got your rear sight with the white outline and a front sight with a white dot to help you kind of line all that up. But again, the basics hold true. Keep that front sight in focus. And on the 6 o'clock hold, I'm beginning my trigger pull right now, and the shot goes off. It's going to be a little high because as I was pulling the trigger, the front sight crept up just a bit. Let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, so now I've got lined up, 6 o'clock hold on the bull. I start my squeeze. A little bit off again. That would have fired a little left. I'm sorry, a little to the right. Okay, again, I find my front sight, front sight's in focus, find my rear window, rear sight window, line the two up, straight across the top, begin my trigger squeeze, fire the shot. It's got some interesting sights. Okay, so first we line up, find our front sight's in focus, line up the rear sight notch. Almost no daylight on either side. It's a very tight sight, but once it's lined up, 6 o'clock hold, fire the shot. Okay, this is a Taurus Ultralight Model 85 and 38 Special, and it's got carry sights. So you can see they're a little bit tough to see, and you have to practice with this gun. There's my front sight, high and in the front, and then I snap in my rear sight, which is just a slot cut out of the top of the frame. But again, I want to line up equal amounts of daylight and flat across the top. Begin my trigger squeeze, fire the shot. Okay, so there's my front sight. Snap in my rear sight, which is just that notch in the frame. My 6 o'clock hold on the target. Once I've got the sights lined up, I begin my squeeze and fire the shot. Kel-Tec 380, it's basically a pocket gun, and it's got some seriously small sights, but they are effective, and you can still hit the target if you do the 6 fundamentals and practice good sight alignment. That little stub at the front there is the front sight. Put it in the rear sight window, which is again just a slot milled on the slide. Line it up. Begin my long double action squeeze and fire the shot. Line up the front sight at the 6 o'clock position in the rear sight window, small as it is. Begin the sight alignment, breath control, trigger squeeze, fire the shot. Conduct a follow through. Again, we've got the front sight in focus. We've got the rear sight window that we're aligning it with. So we've got our sight alignment, and then I start my trigger squeeze, take it up, fire the shot. You can still see the arc of movement really good. 22 revolver, 6 o'clock hold on the bullseye, sight alignment, Front sight is in focus. Front sight is in the rear sight window. 6 o'clock hold on the target. And I start my trigger. Squeeze. Fire the shot. That shot actually would have gone a little off to the left, just as the shot pulled. Shot went off. The sight clung on to that left, the rear side of the rear window. That's called calling your shot. Okay, now I've got 6 o'clock hold. My sight picture is there. Sights are aligned. I start my trigger squeeze. And I'm drifting off to the right. Okay, we'll do this. Okay, snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it. Okay, trigger squeeze starts. I'm holding my breath. It even works when you're doing this. Boom. Springfield Armory 45 caliber auto pistol with some nice target sights. Line up the front. Focus on the front sight. Straight across the top. Light on either side. I got to make sure I got my grip here because this has a grip safety. And squeeze. Oh, and follow through. And one more time, just to show we can do it here. Take a breath. Let it halfway out. Stop breathing. Much better. Okay. Line up on the bull. There's the front sight. Line it up in the rear window. Give my trigger squeeze. Fire the shot. Okay, so here we have the front sight on a World War I era Luger in 9mm. I've lined up the front sight in the really stumpy rear window, rear sight picture. I'm losing it here. I've lined up the front sight in the rear sight window and begun my trigger squeeze. Let my breath in, halfway out, stop breathing, trigger squeeze. Front sight, line up in the rear sight window, begin my trigger squeeze. All right, there's my bull, 6 o'clock hold, find my front sight. There you are, Mr. Front Sight. In the rear window, which kind of disappears with all that blackness. There it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is not a good night shooting pistol at all. So, if you do night shooting, get Mr. Glock's pistol. Here we go. We've got the front sight lined up in the rear sight window, I think. I start my squeeze. Breath held. Here we go. This is Mr. Luger's pistol, and it's Mr. Luger's crappy sights. You gotta edit that out. Oh, okay, there it is. There it is. Every time I get the front sight lined up, it drifts off the bullseye. Oh, God bless those people in World War I. How'd they manage to hit each other? Here we go, on 3. 1, 2.